Storm clouds roiled in the sky as the gallant knight Hugh Hammer emerged from the keep, his hands firm on the hilt of the ancient blade. Firelight danced upon his armor, hinting at the stories of battles past. Not far behind him, Ulf, cloaked in shadows, blended with the night, his eyes ever watchful. Together they were an unlikely pair, united by destiny and dragons. Vermithor, the bronze terror, stood stern and regal, its eyes burning with the wisdom of centuries. Silverwing, a vision of frail beauty with scales scintillating like liquid silver, stretched its wings wide, casting shadows over the courtyard. The dragon's proximity foretold the intersection of their fates. Silence held the keep, not for reverence, but for the throbbing tension of what was to come. The sowing of the dragons had begun. Each step that Hugh and Ulf took seemed to echo through time, a reminder of the weight they carried in this tumultuous era. They weren't just men. They were legends in the making, etched into the annals of history by their choices. As the gates opened, the inhabitants of the keep gathered, their eyes locked onto the enormous creatures that snarled softly, sensing the impending storm. Hugh, with a stoic gaze, nodded towards Vermithor, whose massive head turned earthward. The beast let out a deep, resonant growl, a seismic rumble that seemed to shake the ground itself. Ulf, slipping from the shadows, approached Silverwing with a grace that belied his enigmatic nature. The dragon met his approach with a soft chuff, silver vapors swirling from its nostrils. The sowing of dragons was not a mere act of bonding, but a dance of trust and dominance. It was a ritual ancient and revered, that tied the fate of man and beast irrevocably. Hugh mounted Vermithor with practiced ease, knowing every quiver of its mighty form. Ulf's ascent onto Silverwing was fluid, a silent testament to the bond they shared. The courtyard held its collective breath, waiting, and then they soared, cleaving the sky above, flames igniting the firmament. Below, the people stood in awed silence, shadows of dragons flickering over their wide eyes. As they flew, their destinations remained shrouded in mystery, driven by the winds of fate, ambition, and ancient prophecies. The sowing of the dragons was but the beginning, a prelude to the storm that would engulf not just their world, but the annals of history itself. Hugh Hammer and Ulf were more than riders. They were the harbingers of an age where fire and blood would reign supreme.